Good evening. This is the Natural Resource Inventory and Mapping Committee. It is February 20th, our regular scheduled meeting. I call this to order. I don't see any public here, so we can move on to the next topic, which is our wildlife survey. So last week, I thought I was going to be going out with Jeff to start road mapping, but the conditions were not good. So he postponed it till yesterday. And then we got new snow. And so right now we're scheduled to do that tomorrow, and then he'll be starting his field work on Friday, all things holding in place. I have talked to him, and he was, all on board with checking in with landowners. He has the list. He said most people have phone numbers or emails, so he's on top of that part of it. So where are we at with landowners? I didn't check the list, but I think we were doing pretty good, right?
Yeah, the only one that I didn't hear from, and I should get back to them, and I just didn't do it today, is Kowalski's. It's Dale and Monica on Route 15. It's not Kowalski, but it sounds sort of Kowalinsky, I think is their name. I did not get back to them. I did get heard from Ben Butler, and he's very excited. I don't know if you saw that. And he also said that he has leases land from
Bill Cook.
um,
Mhm.
yeah, yes, and that he could also, if we were interested in that, he will ask Phil because he's pretty sure that would be fine. He'll ask Phil's nephew actually, who's
I
sort
think
of
that would be helpful, Karen, not only because of that parcel, but Phil also has where his house is a pretty large parcel with really different kinds of habitats and stuff. So it may be of interest for him to look at that. So I think it would be helpful to have him contact Phil's uh, nephew, I guess is who you were saying. Yeah.
yes, who's sort of helping Phil with his stuff, his affairs.
I got a no from Stephen and Stephanie Longshore. They live apparently on English Settlement Road, but have it was the 68 Range Road parcel that Arrowwood was interested in. But I got a yes from Luana Caruth, who's at 668 Vermont Route 15. And if Jeff just, pays attention to the phone numbers and calls people or contacts them. I was anticipating or hoping that he would look at this list and say, well, we're no on these, so let's have these others, which he did do. He gave us, I think, four more, so we've gotten, or six more. We've gotten five out of the six. So I would think it would be his responsibility to tell us if this meets his needs or not, or I would hope.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping when I meet with him in person, we can look at some of the no's and make sure he's got sort of equivalents to look at there. And if I can think of people nearby that we could ask, then I'll do that, or I'll see if any of you know anyone near some of these. Um, yeah, I've contacted a few people several times and haven't heard back, so I'm not sure. I know it is sugaring season, and some of our landowners are really pretty out straight with that.
Sandy,
Yeah.
so are you indicating that that you are going out with him Friday morning?
Tomorrow.
Okay, that's good because it would luck as luck would have it. It looks like the weather's changed, and Friday we're supposed to have sleet and rain and snow. So good if it's tomorrow. That's good.
Yeah, that'll be his road survey, which I think helps him kind of orient and see where he's seeing things that way. Um, yeah, so I'll drive so he can get out and look at tracks or whatever. Yeah.
So it's tomorrow's Wednesday. It's
Yeah.
Thursday, you said. Or Wednesday you're doing.
Tomorrow I'm doing the road survey with
Okay.
him.
Well, I see in the news. Yeah.
He had said Friday he may look at the weather and be able to change. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
doing that,
Friday,
Sandy.
not good. That's going to be, well, that'll be interesting.
well, I think so. Yeah. Is there anything else that you all would like to ask him that we, you know,
So
um,
just to clarify, sort of asking him, but after we did have the call with him, in my mind now, he's going to do less of the wildlife and more of the natural communities. Or remember, we wanted to to include that uh, information.
right. Mhm. We asked, he's going to switch some of his time so that Aaron Worthley can do sort of the remote equivalent of looking at, was it passages? I can't quite remember what our notes said from that. Let me get my notes.
So Karen and Ryan, maybe you remember this, but Karen, you were talking to me about the Johnson Arrowwood report, and I looked at that. And were you wondering if that's what we were going to get? Are we wondering, is that what we're going to get, or is it going to be different than that? That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was a very impressive report.
Yeah.
I- yeah, is that what we're going to be getting, Sandy?
I think quite a lot of it, yes. The write-ups on each forest block and, what kinds of things they found. I think it'll, it should include most of that. Yeah, travel corridors.
So
Um,
they in the Johnson report, they had photos of certain forest blocks and labeled them, and the photos weren't in the winter, and they had quite a bit about these many forest blocks. Do you think that's what they're doing with ours too? He hasn't gone out at any point, right? Then nobody's gone out till right now. Is that the idea?
I've seen quite a few of the pictures in that Johnson report that were winter.
Okay.
But I can ask him if, um, I mean, we probably all have photos of different areas which might be helpful to include in the report if they help tell the story. So I'll ask him about photos.
I, did we in the areas, I don't, for example, the areas up around the state park get included in anything that he'll be looking at? The private properties that are below the state park but off the mountain road, will he be looking at anything there? I was I was out there about 2 weeks ago now, and I was really impressed with the number of different footprints of wildlife that were going through the, seemed like it was beach beech forest and there was some hemlock around, and I was just truly enchanted with that.
Okay, well, I'll mention that. I can't remember from the map whether he has any properties there, but you can go on the state forest land too, which would be similar if he was talking, um, if it's part of the same forest block, anyways. Yeah. Well, I'm at a loss of, I guess I didn't, I'm not sure where my minutes are from that meeting. Okay.
I'm
Um,
sorry, I just disconnected myself. I didn't hear any of what you just said.
I'm sorry. Um,
Please,
if
space.
if they are part of the same forest block, he could be on state land, so he may not need to delve into that.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the state park, but it's just
Yeah,
very.
plus, the university land is there, and yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. I will check with him on that,
Yeah.
and on what Aaron is doing.
I was thinking that it might not be so hard for me to do this, but I decided not to even bother. Maybe it would be useful though, is the maps that I did an overlay of that has the parcels on it. I think I could fairly easily just in Adobe Acrobat just highlight the parcels that he's looking at or that we've gotten permission from to just see the layout of them because I guess I thought it maybe wasn't important anymore because he got what he wanted, but Karen's bringing up some places that she's seen some significant activity on. So maybe it would be good to do that. And I don't think that would take me very long, which also just leads me to the sort of sidebar question of Ryan, do you feel that you produce some fantastic maps? Do you feel like you could also overlay the parcels on those, or those is that not an option? I think that was just a JPEG that I did in Photoshop.
Hmm. Yeah, this happened once before, and I can't remember how you fixed it, Ryan. What if you go out and come back again? Yeah, Penny, I think originally maybe it was me who was saying we should not include parcels on it because that, you know,
Is that too personal? Is that too
well,
identifying?
I guess it was more about diluting the information that is there. Um, so you don't focus on what's there, you focus on where your property is, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Um,
I can see that. I can see that.
but on the other hand, of course, landowners are going to be like really interested in what you found around me. Um,
It did.
so
I can see both sides of that, Sandy, because I can when the parcels weren't on there. To me, it's just it doesn't all the layout of the wetlands don't mean anything to me. And you were saying, oh, there's something over here and there, but I couldn't really orient myself to that. I couldn't even know where you were talking about unless it's by, oh, that Davina Fifields parcel. I know where it is. But so I can see both sides of that. That's an interesting thought.
yeah. How's it going, Ryan? Can you talk? No. Oh, I know. Last time I think you called in. That way you could talk on the phone.
So maybe we should retract that from Ryan putting the parcels on those maps.
Well, it's one thing for us to have them so we can orient ourselves and if we're talking to these experts who can look at the map and kind of orient themselves as well, maybe that's a good thing internally. And then when we do the public outreach, we can discuss whether or not to have parcels on.
If
So,
Ryan, if it's easy enough for Ryan to do, and I don't know if it is because I think he imports actual CAD information, and I don't know that there's CAD information for this, but if it's easy enough, maybe he could put it on a layer that he could turn on and off to produce the maps. So speaking of maps, maybe Ryan, maybe could we, while we're waiting, maybe I could just talk about the wildlife sighting map.
yes.
And it's not, uh, I am fussing it up a bit, but I think it needs to be to make it user friendly. So I do
Okay.
want to show you. And the easel is great, but it's delicate.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we could put or hang or even prop a clipboard on. So in my mind's eye, what I need are my old families from the 1960s TV trays. So there's a TV tray beside each map, but I don't know. So I can go to some maybe used, furniture stores or something, see if they have something that we could just little table or something we could put beside each one, because I think the clipboard needs to be on a horizontal surface.
Yeah. So I also was thinking about how heavy clipboards are, and that um, another possibility is to take a piece of foam core that is the size of a piece of paper and have that be your clipboard and attach the papers with you know,
And and put it where, Sandy?
but see, that would be light enough so that you could then maybe attach a string, a long string, and have it with the easel. Um, but yeah, you still,
Maybe.
and then you could pick it up and write on it, but
Just
not,
have it hanging down.
yeah.
Okay, so that's a good option. Let's think about that so I can test that out too when you and I can meet about it and have a look. Um, so
Penny,
when
is this are you referencing the one for the town meeting day? Because the
yes,
one in the town hall, I think we have a podium in the town hall that I bet we could use for put the map on it and then a clipboard right next to it. Isn't there
I
a
think
podium there?
I think we
Uh,
were talking about having it in the vestibule though, or were we not decided where it would be?
In the town hall? We didn't
Yeah,
have decided.
it
Yeah,
was
we
where
had,
Okay.
where will
we
people
had,
And
see it easily?
you mean right on the table then? There's a table there. Yeah. Okay, that's better for um I was thinking upstairs in the great room where the art is, but that's not a good place because people don't necessarily migrate up there, So yeah, it would be right by the table.
Oh, look, Ryan has a telephone on his name.
Oh,
I'm back, I think,
Hey, hey.
yeah.
old-fashioned way. I don't know what's going on with my laptop. It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah, it needs a swift kick.
it might, yeah, or a good toss.
Toss.
We've moved on to Oh, well, do you want to back up and finish that conversation with Ryan? Okay.
So Ryan,
Yeah,
Sandy
what?
was saying about the
Yeah,
parcels on the map. Sandy was saying maybe that's not a good idea because homeowners might get too attached to their parcel versus looking at the big picture. But I guess, so I was wondering, I believe the maps that you've made are some sort of CAD data or map data that you bring in. I don't know if the parcels are data or if they are just, it's a JPEG is how I brought it in. So I didn't know if you could have it easily on a layer that could be turned on and off for future.
yeah, yeah. It's just a GIS layer, so yeah, it can be turned off, turned on. You know, can do anything pretty much that you can think of visually. So yeah, I can easily add that or take it off any maps we make.
Mhm.
Penny, did you have, I guess I'm forgetting what the maps are that you did, Ryan. They were to have to have the zoning layers on. Was that the idea? Okay. So
Yeah,
these
it was
are
zoning with all the other data that they already gave to us in the natural resources inventory. At
okay.
least the preliminary stuff overlaid with zoning. And Penny,
Um,
you'd like to put parcels on there as well? I can't remember whether I did or I didn't.
You didn't put parcels, and I was thinking it was helpful, but as you were struggling with your sound, Sandy was talking about how you've had the discussion before that it's really possibly not even, it's unproductive to have parcels, but maybe then we segued to, well, maybe it's useful to have it in-house so we can all sort of figure out where things are. But maybe when we present it to the public, we might have them or might not have parcels on there, but it might be helpful to orient ourselves. The only concern I had is I didn't know if your CAD program allows you to overlay a JPEG or underlay a JPEG, or if the parcels are some sort of data layer that you can get from somebody. I think I just got it off the internet as just a JPEG, a graphic
Right.
layer.
No, it's an actual it's an actual GIS layer. So it's got all the, you know, whatever parcel you click on will have all the stand number and owner and
Oh,
every kind of acreages, all that is in there. If you need it to visualize it that way, you know.
can
But yeah, I think it would be an easy add just for our work if you think it would be helpful. I can easily just reopen those maps, click the parcels back on, and export them back out to everyone.
Sandy, can I share a screen and just remind you what Ryan did? I've just got it up here on my screen.
sure. Oh,
Or maybe not so easy. I don't know that I know how to do it.
Well, did you
so
share?
What now?
Don't you toggle over to Penny and then
For
I'm
me, it
forgetting.
says to share. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so I think this is me right here. So can you see, let's see, I've got it in the gallery view. So if how do I put it in the non-gallery view? I don't know, but anyway, who's talking maybe or no? Anyway, can you see that? I can even zoom in a little closer. So Ryan ended up overlaying the zoning districts and hatching them on, these are upland natural community types. So he's got all the colors in there, and then the hatching in there is the correct colors and the like of the various zoning districts. So it's just a matter of putting in parcels, and
Mm.
I don't know, that might make it too busy. I don't know. But it would help me to figure out a little bit better where I am, I think.
Yeah, it's an easy add, and then if we don't like it, we don't have to use it, you know. So
Okay, great.
I can do. Yeah, that's an easy job.
So
And
just
then in response to your email that you sent about visualizing the data, I think that is possible. And I need to research a little more into what the town's capabilities are, and what they have as far as any licensing with ArcGIS and kind of all this sort of back end server stuff that we have. Like I need to go back and refresh how we did the story map for the big trees. Can't remember where that's hosted, whether it's on my own personal account or I created it. I don't know. I need to go back and look.
I think it is on yours, I think.
Okay.
did that pin
had a-
where trees are? Is that what you did, Ryan?
Yeah, there was like a I don't know if you've ever seen a story map, but it's basically kind of like a text document that has maps embedded in it. So it kind of tells a story. You read a headline or like a I don't know how you describe it. Like you say, like a chapter of this little story, and it might have a map on it. You click on the map, you can kind of zoom around and use like you would an online map, and then you go down through the rest of the story and kind of look at it that way. I think I can shoot you over a link for that if you don't have it. But
So what I was wondering about by my backstory was that that there are some municipalities now that I think are pretty great in Green Up Day, that you can actually sign up for a section of road online. Or
yeah,
also, I saw that Montpelier has different areas pinned that you can click on it. And when you click on it, it says, this park needs 24 volunteers because it's really messy or something like that. And then another pin, you can click on it and identifies where that is, and it's got the location of it. So I was just wondering, I thought we talked about with Jeff that we're doing these wildlife sighting maps, but the idea would also be to do one online for people who wanted to note online, but I just don't know how to do that, and I don't know if it's possible.
What he had said was that they could do that, but if we asked him to do two things. One, it was going to take Aaron's time, and that would take away from the survey. And the other is that there isn't really a lot of time for people to learn how to do it, and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
it just didn't seem like the timing was quite right for that.
Okay. So where are we intending to post these hard copy maps, Sandy?
The town hall and the Deborah Rawson Library, they said we could have it up there for 2 months. I haven't really talked to anyone at the town hall, but I don't see why they wouldn't want it there. I didn't talk to Phil Jacobs. I think it was a good idea. I just am hesitant to um, ask that favor of them, but
I
they
think
did.
that's a possibility if you think it's a good location. It's how do we get the most information? How do we get the most people?
Yeah, and there's different groups of people in town, and there's some people that go to the libraries and some people that frequent the town hall and feel comfortable doing that. But then there's a lot of people that don't. So, where can we capture them? Maybe it's at Phil's. I don't know where else we have it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go to the Mills, the park, Jericho
Mm,
Underhill Park, but there's nothing inside to keep it out of the elements. And from the postings, I don't know this personally, but it seems like there's a degree of vandalism there. So maybe that wouldn't be a good place.
Or maybe it could be some day that I'm there for a couple hours and I stand there on a good day or something with a map, something like that.
Um, let me see. How about, well,
How about inside the sharing shed across from town hall?
When
Covered.
does that start up
Well,
generally?
it's always there. It's the building's sitting there. It just
Oh,
has a little scope that says closed, but we advertised it that it, it'll be, the map will be there for a week, or I
yeah,
don't know.
mhm.
that's a good idea.
Trying to think of some place over on your side of town, Penny.
I know. All I can think about is the pie, the poorhouse pies, but I think that's mostly commuters that go
All,
by.
all I can think of is the fire department, and I'm sure they don't want people going in and out there.
Right. I think Phil's could be good. Phil could get some business out of it.
Maybe.
How about that?
Maybe. I mean, yeah.
So
Yeah.
do we want to rotate them to these different places and advertise this week it's going to be here, or is that too confusing for people to kind of try to get to the right place?
Mm.
I don't know if it's that confusing, but I probably do it more by the month than the week. But also, what about another option? What about maybe we don't have an online map, but maybe we have someone people could email and say, I saw a fox on the corner of such and such and such and such, and then we can add it. Maybe there's some form that we could make that Google form or something that they could access in Front Porch Forum that just basically describes the general area or the parcel or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that can't be described. The other thing I wanted to ask is, should we now remember, I don't have a lot of facility with the natural environment, and I am coming from the other side of town, right? That was Sandy's side of town. So this might be a stupid question, but what if people start putting down bunnies and squirrels? Are we asking for bunnies and squirrels, or are we not? What about
Oh,
raccoons, bunnies, and squirrels?
skunks.
Well,
Skunks? Yeah.
you bring up a really good point, and that is like people are keeping track of the birds at their bird feeders, but I'm not sure we want all of that kind of information. How do we deal with that sort of thing? Or I have a bee list that I collected last summer, or that kind of thing.
Well, we could put down, I was thinking about it in the text. We could actually put examples of animals so people get the idea, or we could rudely say no bunnies and squirrels. But I wondered if maybe when you're talking to Jeff, if you would ask him his thoughts about that. Maybe he wants absolutely no bunnies and squirrels, but he wants foxes and coyotes and that sort of thing.
Well, there's a point to that, Penny, because um, I seem to have a lot of moles, but every night a fox comes, and I think they come to this about the same area to look for food. And I think it's
Wow.
no, yeah, they go through the snow and they're there. I maybe it's shrews. I don't know what they're doing, but they do come. So maybe with the bunnies, it could be that a lot of coyotes are around, or you know.
Hmm.
That would lead
So,
to a source of food, is what I'm saying, thinking of.
so maybe he wants the bunnies, or maybe he just wants the
I don't know.
coyotes that come for the
Ask him.
bunnies.
Yeah, well, no, we'll ask him.
Um,
Yeah. So,
it also might be that he doesn't want it in your yard, like it needs to be a certain distance
Oh,
from
right.
people's homes or something like that.
Good point. That's a good point too.
that's a good
That'd be a
point.
good thing to ask him.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, but then again, for instance, I see deer all the time. I live in the woods. I see them from my windows. If you make me only write down deer that I see when I go out into the woods here, I wouldn't capture the deer. I don't see them. They come quietly while, I'm quietly in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But that'd be a good thing to probe.
yes.
And then I guess it would be, in your opinion or in his opinion, if we were to do this, how long do we do this for? When is our start and when is our end? Does he want a 4-month accumulation, or he wants March and April, or February and March, or what does he want?
Well, it really needs to be just March and April because they will then write their report and be done the project, right?
Mm.
The end of June, they're done the project. So, March, April, into May, people have, I don't know, aren't you out in your garden by then? So,
Uh, We start getting excited looking for fawns up here. Which doe has had her fawn?
Hmm.
okay, well, I'll also ask, but I think it's probably just 2 or 3 months worth of data.
Where else? Oh, I know. What about how busy is the Unitarian Church on Sundays? If it
I've
were a
been there.
travel, well,
It's busy. Like
it's
maybe
been,
30
if there
people,
were
maybe.
a traveling board that was just there on a Sunday, or no, never mind. I was thinking to get
What?
You
input.
mean the
The church,
Unitarian Church in Jericho?
no, isn't that, no, it's in Underhill. The
It's in
church,
Jericho.
oh, it's in Jericho? Oh,
Mhm.
okay, sorry. I thought that side of the street was Underhill.
Oh,
But
are you talking
same.
about the United Church of
Oh,
Underhill?
it's the United Church. Yes, I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we could put one there. It's not that busy, but it's locked during the day.
Oh,
So
okay,
during coffee hour on a Sunday, maybe they do have to travel. The Catholic Church one Sunday, the Congregational another.
or maybe that's not a good idea. Never. I mean, it was just we're just you know thinking about things.
Right. Karen, I don't know. It's as good as any.
It is. You're looking for people, and you know, let's see, are there meetings that are going to happen someplace
Right.
that we could, is the Lions Club or
Winter
Hmm.
Carnival?
I
Is that
think
this
that's
coming weekend?
weekend. I think.
This weekend? Coming
Yeah,
weekend?
but I think it's been sort of shrunk to just the skating
Oh,
because of
weather.
yeah the weather.
well, let's maybe a thing to do is advertise through Front Porch Forum and find some way for them to respond online with a link. I mean, maybe that's a way to do it, to see if we can figure out how somebody could describe something.
Yeah, we had a Google form for the big tree contest, and people, if you take a picture with your phone, it has the coordinates. But if people are thinking about where I saw it in the past, then they'll have to just sort of approximate. Um, could be the
Um,
nearest road address or something like
could
that.
could we do something like, is this too cumbersome? Could we do something like, if it's a link to a form and somebody fills out this very simple form, which is basically the sheet that you made, Sandy, for the map, and could they approximate where it is? And could we send them a map, like email them a map and ask them where on that it is? Is there some way to to pin something or to get it. People don't always read maps well, though. That's not a good idea.
Mm.
Maybe we could follow up somehow with a phone call if they want to leave their phone number, though most people probably wouldn't want to do that.
It's the dance studio in Jericho.
Yes.
Oh,
But,
okay.
it all sort of depends on who populates it. I mean, if it's mostly Underhill residents, then it would be useful,
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I got to think I don't know, maybe not. I was going to say the library would be more likely for people to
Mhm.
see wildlife sightings in the dance studio. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I was just thinking
Hey,
of other locations
what
that
about
would.
Ryan's work? Ryan, do you have a lot of people from Underhill where you work?
Uh, not really. No.
Oh, everybody
I
works
mean, there are
remotely.
some. Yeah. Right. I work by myself, so yeah, everyone is here. Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a few locations now, so we don't have to.
Okay, so Sandy, I think that maybe what the next step is for us to get together with the prototype and like the option you thought of versus the clipboard and the other things on the map and just see how you feel about the prototype. And then we can figure out where we leave the first one, the second one, the third one. If you could also, however, I think concurrently confirm with Arrowwood, do we want to angle people in a direction of like no bunnies and squirrels, no birds and moles, or do we not? We whatever they want to put or that sort of thing. And the dates and the dates, the brackets of the dates, which might be ASAP probably.
Okay.
So do you have a moment to look at your calendar and we talk about when we could get together on that, or do you want to do that afterwards after the
Um, I think I'm free Friday if
I
you
think
like.
I'm in Canada on Friday. Let me get
I
back to
won't
you.
go there to meet you.
Pardon me?
I won't go there to meet you.
You won't? Well, I'd be driving by probably your place.
Where are you
Well,
going by? Are you going by Lac Brome? You could bring duck breasts for us.
Oh, wildlife.
Well, no, not no, no. No, they have wonderful duck. Which, yeah. Um, what if we on the map not say no voles and squirrels, but say we're looking for things like foxes and weasels, and of course they might
Right.
not know the difference between a
Well, I think people would get the idea. If we're
NRIM and
saying, if we're
yeah,
saying ducks versus, I think people get the idea. We just have to find out from Arrowwood what they want.
what they want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be people that frequent the creek or other wetlands and have seen a lot of interesting birds there. Oh, by the way, I also was thinking of I don't know how many of you use iNaturalist, but it's a great tool for putting in what you're seeing. So I wrote to somebody, Kent McFarland, to ask him if if we can get the data for Underhill, which would show all the sightings of plants and animals that have been seen. Um, and we can include it as an appendix to what they have, or if it's actually something we can put on a map, maybe we can use it. In any case, it would be something we could include as part of our flora and fauna of Underhill.
That's a great idea.
Did you get a response from that?
I just did it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It's a really good idea.
No,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
I'm prearranged with Bernie to give me a little seminar on how to use iNaturalist for jumping worms because I think jumping worms are ubiquitous, and I want to start being able to when I talk to people about jumping worms on their property, what I'd like to try to do is I don't know if I can do this or not, get permission from them to enter their information into iNaturalist to save them the trouble of doing it. So I'd like to see if I can do that.
Interesting.
Uh,
Okay. Well, I think, we've got a lot of questions for Jeff, possibilities of what information he might give us,
yeah.
which I'll send you sort of a summary of what I learned with him. Penny, you've got the posters, and that seems to be going well. We'll get together. We'll find a time to get together, and then take all these locations and, kind of figure out when we want maps where. If we have 4 maps, there's just 2 easels, but they are rigid, so they can sit on a table or something like that.
And maybe we can borrow some easels. I do think the town has an easel. Andrew had an easel. We just
Yeah,
have to figure
Amanda
out
didn't think there were any there, but who knows? The other thing would be a Google form, and maybe you and I can think about that, Penny, when we get together, how exactly we might be able to do that.
Mm.
Um, Ryan, do you think on a Google form you could put a map where people? Is there a way to? Um,
Uh, it seems
Identify
like
the
there should be. I
I,
don't know if I've never done that, but it does seem like a fairly, like, seems like a common request, like a
yeah,
like a location.
I would think it
Whether
being
it's
Google, Google with Google, they'd support one another.
yeah.
maybe that only you can give like a street address, which may not be helpful. Then you'll have a bunch of wildlife sightings on roads, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
um,
The other thing I
versus
wondered, Ryan, is
pictures of a house or whatever.
what about if you could, but this might be too complicated. I was just thinking, what if you could grid it, put it on a grid so that people could say it's in, the A1 area or the whatever, but then you'd have to have so many letters on the grid that would be cumbersome. And people wouldn't be able to figure out where their houses were.
Maybe I mean Jeff seems to have done this in the past, so maybe he has an idea of what he wants.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sandy, maybe that's another thing to ask him.
Yep.
I
Hmm.
mean, maybe we would have to pay him to do an online map and there's no time to do that, but maybe as another idea of a cheap and dirty, quick way we could do it or something.
Yeah, I think maybe we can ask Aaron when is that tomorrow night, Penny? Aaron Worthley?
Yeah, yes, it is.
He's their mapping guru, so he would be the one that would know how to do that. Um, yeah, and it may be something Jericho's interested in. So tomorrow night, Jericho has scheduled a meeting with Aaron Worthley, who also works for Arrowwood, who I guess is doing some mapping for them. Um, they had, when they did their overlay map, I hope this isn't repeat for everyone, but when they had done their overlap of the natural community maps, this was before the forest fragmentation law. So they hadn't yet sort of figured out all of the forest block ways they were going to be doing that. So they've hired Arrowwood to go back and show them their forest block information, probably among other things that they're doing, and as well as sort of significant areas, I guess. Anyways, they have a online meeting with them tomorrow night, and Penny and I were just going to listen in on what they have going there.
I'm sure if you folks wanted to listen in too, you'd be welcome to. It's just sort of listening in on like 45 minutes of their meeting.
Um, okay, I think we are good unless you have other questions or thoughts about those two things.
No, I think my job is to contact Ben and have him speak with the nephew of Phil Cook.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
And what else do you want me to do? Well,
Well,
we
we
have,
didn't. Mhm.
oh,
We
Yeah, you
are
have
going
some
to need
left.
a blurb on Front Porch Forum eventually about the effort, why we're doing it, and then these various places that you can get to it if anybody wants to take that on as a writing thing.
Also, Sandy, I think that it would be helpful for, and I swear I haven't seen any wildlife but deer this year, but it would be helpful if other folks on the committee did have some wildlife sightings that we could put as examples. We could start out the maps that way.
Yeah.
So if you get that information from Arrowwood and you and I can meet with a prototype and Ryan thinks about maps and Karen thinks about land, maybe we can kind of touch base by email over the
um,
next week.
okay.
okay. So we won't plan to meet again until the March meeting, which I don't have my
Oh,
calendar in front of me, but
oh,
the third
maybe
Tuesday.
maybe we need to talk about though. Let's see, the March meeting. I could tell you real quickly is on the 19th. But maybe we need to talk about town meeting day.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
So, Karen, you had offered to have this map sort of in the same locale as the Conservation Commission work.
yes,
That'd be
yep.
great.
I mean, we're gung ho to do it. We're going to have a little table there anyway, and we are gung ho to, we're very interested. They want to do that as
Okay,
well.
so give me a minute and I'll just show you something and I'll ask your opinion. Hold on.
Yes, and Penny is going to be out there some of the time, so that'll be good. I think hmm, here she comes. Oh,
So I thought that I would, let me just look here 1 second, the settings and camera. Hold on. I have blur. Can I stop blurring? Is that I have not stopped blurring. Okay. Well, I don't know how to non-blur, but I thought there might be some various options that I could be sitting at the table so I could have this. Or, and I thought I have a couple, and I thought, we could all be at MAPS at some point, but this is only if we're able to record bunnies. And I thought Ryan might be a little too embarrassed to wear those. So I thought for Ryan, I got him like a big rack. So
oh, wow.
I have something for everyone. I have something for everyone. And that's if you want to play Halloween with me. And
Little
so I thought it
bears.
might attract some attention, and I never mind being goofy, so that works.
Well,
Um,
good.
and I will bring a folding chair, but I just want to really try to dial in what works best for the pseudo clipboard. So that's important to me. And I also want to make sure that we have all the literature right about what we're actually looking for. So that's 2 weeks, I guess, till we have that meeting. So maybe we can confer before
A
town
quick,
meeting.
maybe a quick huddle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you display the the first one with those
This
what
is this is
chapters?
called this is called something like a lope or something. It's not an actual animal, I don't think. It's just a Halloween ears. Aren't they cute?
They're very cute. Yeah.
I'm sure somebody's child will like them after we're done with them.
Nice, funny. Every
Uh,
detail. Mhm.
I also just wanted to say that in my trolling the internet for this newsletter that I do every month, there is a mycorrhizal fungi or fungi, however you pronounce it, Zoom on tomorrow at 1 p.m. If any, and I think it's Liz Thompson who's doing it. Maybe would that be right?
Yeah, I think I did see that.
If anybody's interested,
Is that's Fish and Wildlife is doing
it
this meeting
is.
with
It is. It's. I think because I think it is Liz Thompson. It's through UVM EDU.
EDU?
Yeah, I'll send out the link in case you want to register for
Yeah,
Anything else?
I don't think so. We're good.
Motion to adjourn, please.
I can make a motion to adjourn the meeting
And
at
a second.
7:32.
I'll second it. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
aye.
Hi.
Thank you all.
it. Thank you.